What's our eternal tribe? Where do we belong? Where do we come from? And this is a very fundamental question for success in life. And I had originally started this discussion by asking this question, like, why is the question about consciousness so important? Right? The reason it is important is, if you look, society, our idea of society is a place which is organizing the distribution and resources and all of those things so that a person's sustenance and their happiness, correct? That's the purpose of society in general. Whether today or 1,000 years ago, whatever person's thing is their sustenance, and whatever brings them happiness has to be organized. So if you understand carefully, society is basically an organized attempt of that. Think about it, right? So it gives you a good idea, like, based on what our idea of ourself is, or consciousness is, we organize a society like that to further that. Now if you look at our society, how is it organized? What is it organized to further? Economic development, right? Money. That's the mantra. It's all about money, isn't it? Just finding some amount of money. Everything else is sprinkled in. But the main thing, the main business is the business of money. So we have a society organized around that. And what do you learn in school? How to make money. You may say, no, I learned math, I learned English. Really? What is the use of that knowledge? What are you doing with that? Only thing you're doing is you're learning how to make money. Maybe you might say, I learned to walk, talk, but think about it. Like, all of those activities are driven towards making you a viable economic unit. Because as a society, we have understood happiness means money. So we've organized everything around it. And sustenance means being able to eat food. What does these two activities show about our knowledge of the self? It shows very clearly that we think we're the body, right? Because we need food to sustain and we need money to pay our bills. What does this show? I'm a body. Then if you're just a body, who's better off? The dog whose master is following behind him collecting poop? Or the master who can afford to own it? Who's better off? Who's working very hard to be able to pay the bills for the dog? And we're thinking we're the body. You may say, like, nah, I think I'm something subtle. I might be spiritual, I'm this. But what in your world around you is designed to further your spiritual awareness? Or spiritual knowledge? Where are you getting systematic knowledge about the soul? Yes, you're getting some idea here and there about you must fear God and this and that, but what does that do for you? Or you must follow God. What does that do for you? What do you do with that information in your life? Absolutely nothing. How much time do you invest in that information? Maybe what does it change in your life? What does it change in the activities of your life? You continue to do what you're doing, right? You continue to do you're dating the same way, you're eating the same way, you're mating the same way, you're gardening the same way, everything's the same. What changes with this knowledge of you must fear God, you must fear God, you must fear God? What changes? Nothing. But you are a dynamic person, you have energy. That passion, that energy, that heartfelt desire, how do you channel that in a spiritual way? How do you utilize that energy in a spiritual way? Where is the knowledge of it? This is the power of time. Kalena sarvatra kabira namasar. Time moves so subtly. You see people after time like, oh, you've grown up. What you can't see is time has done its work. Time takes everybody away from the material stage. Material world is a stage. It takes everybody and everything away. You may be a moral person, you may be an honest person, but those things that you're moral about, those things you're honestly stating, all of those things will change. You may be a merciful person, but whoever you give mercy to will go. So time pushes everything away. So real mercy is to actually help people see the eternal truth. Because the temporary will constantly change. And it's a waste of time and energy. Would you rather invest your energy in building a sand castle on the border of an ocean? Or what's more sturdy? Something that stays, right? A sand castle doesn't stay. So how do you want to live your life? Do you want to do what you've already done for many lives? Come and go? Real development work we can do is self-development, not property development. Self-development is the most important thing. The real purpose of society is to actually enable persons' eternal growth. The real thing is the individual. Based on your idea of individuality, you will organize societies, schools, world, relationships. If your idea of life is, just give you an example, that you only live once, that's it. Have maximum fun, right? So this relationship, that relationship, this relationship, that relationship just goes on. And there's no sense of satisfaction. It's not like you enjoy breaking up all the time. It's not you may say it for some time, it's not a fun activity to just go through that thing all the time. So we want something lasting. But in order for us to last, but there's a sense of panic. I'm gonna die and this is not a relationship I'm enjoying. And time's running out, so I want to find somebody else. There's a sense of panic internally. You see what I'm saying? I'm not blaming. I'm just saying because of lack of knowledge, we make these choices. But when you understand thoroughly that you're not the body, you're the soul, and you see life, love, relationships as an opportunity to perform the right kind of duty, as an opportunity, love is really based on duty, not on entertainment and enjoyment. It's duty and commitment to one another. Without duty and commitment, there's no love. Duty and commitment can only sustain when you have a deeper sense of the self. Because if your sense of the self is, I'm just this body, I have just this life, and I must have fun, I'm not feeling happy, I must feel happy, right? If that's your sense, you can't sustain a relationship. You will jump. Because there's no way in something long lasting that you won't have the sense of boredom, the sense of I've had enough, or this person's so enough. You're always going to have that. But how will you go past it? You have to have a deeper sense of self. Both persons have to have it, a deeper sense of self. That's how relationships will last. That's how life goes on in a successful way. So it is very important to understand the nature of consciousness in order to have a society that's actually progressive for us. Because we don't know who we are, we have a society that's organized to facilitate our illusion. We don't have a society that is organized to facilitate our enlightenment. And we want to make that transformation. The best way of making the transformation is to start by ourselves. As we deal with ourselves, we say higher consciousness. Like I was saying, higher consciousness is not something you import or you pull down like that. No, higher consciousness means cleaning ourselves. Just like a higher grade of diamond. What is it? It's more purified, more clean. What is higher grade of gold? When you fly through Singapore, you can see very high quality gold. What's high grade gold? It has less alloys in it. It's purer gold. It's very malleable and it can break. If you have the purer the gold, it will break so easily. Yeah? So it's higher quality gold. It means it's more purified. Similarly, higher consciousness means more purified consciousness. In this body, we have all the tools to access the highest level of consciousness.